Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today, obviously, out on the riverbank. Gonna do a little bit of looking, maybe for an hour. It's about all I have. But I'm down at one of the places that I normally check out during my course of the year when I'm looking for things. And the river's still up a little bit, but we got some weather last night, and they're talking about this river going up again. Not much, but enough to cover over the site. So I decided to come down now. And I actually just came down the bank to a spot that I've only found a couple of flakes in here. Usually what I do is from here I walk up, but just as soon as I got down here, you see that? That is some kind of a blade. Now, I've only ever found one point here since I've been looking, and it was a broken, I believe it was like a Fox Creek point. But this is definitely some kind of little blade, or big blade. Let's see what we got here. Wash that off. I did find a flake here. As you can see, there's only just a little narrow strip of rock to look at, and that's really all you need. You check this rock out right here and a little bit going into the water, and then it turns into mud. So let's see. Yeah, that definitely was worked. It's kind of crude, but definitely has worked. That was definitely a blade. You can see the edge right there. You can see the different flakes driven off of it. So all right, down here for 2 minutes and found a tool and like 2 or 3 flakes. So this is even the spot that's the good spot of the place that I look. So hey, we'll take that. But all right, hopefully that's a good sign, and hopefully there's some more exposed here. Like I said, this river's going to come up, and even though it's only going to come up like maybe 2 feet, you can see if the river comes up 2 feet, spots like this are underwater. So I'll have to wait until it washes back off. The river will go down, wait for a rain or two, and then come back. So that might be a week or two, who knows. All right, we're gonna keep going, see what else we can find. See you on the next. Okay guys, it's been a little bit. I've been searching around here. Just moved down into the area where I know I usually find some things here and there, but first thing you might notice is a little fire rock in here. It's broken up, but I just got a kind of a twofer going on here. Check that out. You see this? This looks like some kind of a blade. They were definitely working on it. Let's rinse this off here. But there's something else on the bank that I think is a small point. But let's see. Yeah, that's been being worked with. I don't know. Yeah, that edge might have some wear on it. That not so much. That looks like it's just broken, but there could be some edge wear on this. I'll have to look at this a little closer with a glass, but very well could have been used as a scraper. But when I bent down to see that, to look at that, which was right there, I happened to look up here on the hill, and I don't know if you're going to spot it, but right there in the center of the screen, that is a piece of, oh, what is this stuff? I'm pretty sure that's going to be a Fox Creek point. Let me, argillite is what it's called. It's a soft stone, almost like a slate. Very common along the Delaware River, but yeah, that's definitely a little Fox Creek point. And these here, they're about 2,000 years old, maybe 1,500, 2,000 years. But too bad it's busted up there. But I've seen them where they were like really big. They're usually a stemmed point, kind of poorly made, but they're very distinctive by this material. When this dries off, it'll turn almost like a purplish color. And they see a lot of this along the upper Delaware River Valley, but we get it here too. And I have found these types of points on this site before, so pretty cool. All right, so we got that blade or scraper and this plus that blade that I found down there. So I'm in a good spot, and it's been washed off pretty good. And like I said, once this river comes up in the next day or two from them thunderstorms we had last night, this is going to get covered over for a couple more days or a week or so. So all right, see you on the next. All right, just a couple minutes later, walked up on this. At first I thought it was a leaf, but all I did was touch the top, and it's flint, and it's pretty sharp, and that looks like a point, but I don't know if it's going to be broken. It looks like it probably is. Yeah. Crap, look at that. That snapped off. Look at the tip of that. That would have been a tip of a very nice point. That's too bad. That is a heartbreaker. Look at that. And it's, man, the tip on that. It's still sharp as the day it was made. But, unfortunately, there's the reality. You wonder how this stuff gets busted up. I mean, it gets roughed around. If it wasn't broken while it was being made or when they used it, the ground shifts over the years and things come out and get tumbled. Look at this rock. I mean, that's recently smashed, but what the heck caused that to crush like that? Who knows? Look at that little micro flint there, jasper. Micro flake. So, unfortunately, just a tip, but a fire crack rock right there. There's more in there. More right in there. So, a little bit there. This is the hot spot of the area. So, I'm going to go through here slow. Hopefully, there's a whole artifact in here to show you, but that's a shame. Tip of a busted point like that. But, alright. See you on the next. Alright, guys. Just found the tip of that point right over in here, and I looked down here by the river a little bit, and with something like this I have to look at one lane. I kind of bend over, and I call these lanes. I'll look at this bottom lane, and then I'll come back up and look through the top lane. So that's what I did here. I went down to here. I used this as a marker, and when I came back and came over here, check this out. Look what is laying right there, right in the middle of your screen. There is a point. Rather crude. Oh, it looks like just a little part of the ear right there. Look at that. Tipped, little ear there got tipped off right there, but man, maybe not even. It's close. If it's just a tiny little piece that got nipped off, but, and you can see that was resharpened. It was probably in the handle and was resharpened. You can see how it's kind of off. This would have been bigger at one time, and then maybe it broke, and while it was still hafted to the handle of whatever it was in, they resharpened it, and which is why it's not perfectly symmetrical. But boy, just that little bit off the shoulder, but this is what we're looking for. This is why I come down here. All right, nearly complete point. Not sure about the type on that. These types down here, sometimes they get a little weird. I find a lot of Susquehanna broad points, which are like late archaic. You know, they're like 4,000 or 5,000 years old, but nothing earlier than that. Like, I mean, later, like going into back like early archaic or anything. Everything that I've ever found here seems to be from around where that transitional archaic, the Susquehanna broad point is, and then coming forward in time into the woodland times, because I also find little pieces of pottery shards here. But all right, at least I didn't get skunked today. I'll take that. See you on the next. All right, still going. Happen to look up in here. This looks like it's probably a piece of a blade or something. Wait a minute. Is that a... I think that's a giant point base. Look at that. I gotta wash this off. If it is, this thing is huge. And of course it's broken. See if we... That looks like a giant stemmed point. That's exactly what it is. Might be a little bit off the base right there, but that's snap. There's a large point type like this that we get in this area. I've only found 2 of them, and both of them were like this. They were broken at the top of the blade. It's called a Genesee. It's a New York point type, but they do occur down here in Pennsylvania. And like I said, I've only ever found 2 that were similar to this. It was probably a knife blade, and usually I think they were associated with the broad spears, like the Susquehanna broad points. This could have been the giant knife form of them. I'm not sure, but that is a big honking point. Look at that. Oh man, I'm so bummed that the tip of that is gone. Damn. All right, well, definitely has been an interesting trip. I got a pocket full of flint, plus those other clips that I just showed you, and now this. Man, that's a shame. I'll throw up an exact date on here when for the Genesee type points when I get home. But boy, that's man, I'm bummed. But still cool to have. All right, see you on the next. All right, been a couple minutes. I saw a piece of flint, moved a rock, and I spot this. That base of a point could be probably Susquehanna broad point, could also be one of them Orient fishtail points, which is basically related, you know. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I'd almost call that an Orient fishtail, but just by the way it's rounded here, it's not squared off. I'll tell you what, it's been all brokes today, but given the choice between finding a bunch of broken things and finding nothing, I'll take it. So at least we're finding stuff. But oh well. All right, hopefully there's some more. See you on the next. All right, I've already been up to the point where I want to turn around, so I just turned around and I came up higher on the bank, and I'm kind of glad I did. You tell me, just from this view, did you see the point in that picture? Look at all of those rocks. I don't believe that I actually spotted this. There's a little bird point right there. Look at that. And this thing is tiny. I'll take it though. First, looks like it's a first intact artifact today. Little tiny thing, but hey, we'll take it definitely. Probably a little atlatl tip maybe. Could even be later, could be woodland, but it's a little bit thick. I don't know, but you know what? That is a nice little point. I'll take it, definitely. All right, I'm actually turning around and heading back, but I always search on my way back as well, so it's going to take me a little bit of time. I'll just kind of going back over what I already walked up through, but that's okay. Sometimes I find things on the way back that I missed. So, all right, well, hopefully there's more. If not, I'll do a little wrap up and we'll see you then. See you on the next. All right, on my way back, I happen to pick this up. Notice this. I just set it back down exactly where I found it. This, I believe, is another Fox Creek blade. Now, may have been made that way or broke. It looks like it was made that way. But this would have been like a lancelet-like point, okay? They're not that old. I think the dates we got on them over at the Archaeology site that's over in Duryea, Pennsylvania, they got some carbon dating. And I think these came back to around 300, 360, something like that, AD. Now, I know it's tough if you don't know what you're looking for in these. I have seen hundreds of these that have come out of that site. And they don't look like much, and sometimes they don't even look like somebody made them. But the material is the dead giveaway. And like I said, I've seen hundreds of these types of points being dug right out of the ground from excavations, along with finding some on the riverbanks. But that is definitely a small Fox Creek lancelet point. So it's in rough shape, but most of them are. Unless they're made out of some kind of flint. This stuff here, this argillite, is not really the greatest material. But it seems to have been a preferred material by the people that were making them. So, hey, it's something else. I'll take it. And heading back towards, towards the car now, but it'll take me a little bit to get there. So, but all right, another Fox Creek blade. See you on the next. Alright guys, you just saw the clips of the things that I found on the Susquehanna River on my little trip. It was actually like 2 days ago, but I just got around to doing the wrap-up. I just wanted to show you a little bit better. This way you can see what they look like cleaned up and a little bit more up close. But as you saw in the clips, picked up a bunch of broken things. Only one complete little point, which was this guy here. Nice little bird point. Everything else has a break. This one was the next most complete, but as you can see right there on the shoulder, and a little tiny little ding out right there on that shoulder. Not sure exactly on the type, probably some kind of woodland point, judging on the different types of points that I found there over the years. And you can see it's kind of not symmetrical. See how that edge just kind of boop, makes a quick right angle there. That was probably broken being used, and it was still inside of the handle that it was attached to or whatever, and they probably just were able to resharpen it and continue to use it. You see a lot of points like that where they start off as a nice big point or whatever, but over time they end up getting smaller and smaller as they're resharpened, and then they'll end up having this big base and this tiny little blade sticking up where the blade used to be, up here. But that's very common. That they, this is a very common thing that they did. Did find the base of this orient fishtail point. This is actually the first orient fishtail type that I have ever found there, and I've walked this site for 20 years on and off, over the different years. But the orient fishtails, they fall in with the broad spears. They're all in that transitional archaic period. So the Susquehanna broad points, the orient fishtails, things like your dry brook fishtail, those types kind of all are related and kind of right in there in the same time frame. So could have even been the same people, just a slight variation in the way that they made them over the course of a little span of time. Who knows? Could have been different people. The archaeologists aren't entirely sure. So anyway, this was a heartbreaker, that broken tip, and that snapped off. This was going to be the tip of a very large point. You can see at the top, look at that, it's almost like blue in that flint. Pretty stuff. Of course, there was the Fox Creek things. Like I said in the video, I have seen hundreds of these. One of the most common point types that I've seen over my career of doing amateur archaeology and working with some archaeologists and stuff. These date somewhere, they're right around 2,000 years old. You can see on this one, looks like it took a little bit of a nick off of this bottom corner. There's usually 3 types of these, all the same people. I've seen them all at the same site, where you'll get like a lancelet looking type of a point. As you can see, like this one here, I think this was actually sharpened down. It looks like it's narrowing down. It might have even been like a drill form, but the base on them, you see how this is it just comes around, it's lancelet, it's not even really stemmed. Sometimes they have weak shoulders and they're stemmed. I've even seen side notched Fox Creek points. So the material is terrible. This argillite, it's a soft stone, it cracks easily. It's not the best material, but far and away probably the most common material used in making these Fox Creek points. This one here, if you look, it's kind of grainy. That's probably like a sugar quartz, which I've seen them made out of. I have one that it's a broken base that was white. It was like that white sugar quartz. You also see them occasionally out of other flints and jasper, but that's usually rare for this type. Usually you got this argillite, and that comes from the upper Delaware River Valley. Seems to be the area where they were sourcing that stuff, and these points are commonly found around there and down the Susquehanna, so, and of course up into New York. There was this guy. Look at the size of this thing. Now, I've been back and forth with this in my brain. There's a type of point called a Genesee, which I mentioned in the video, and they are very large, and they are usually going to be a large stemmed point. And I was wrong in the video. They don't tie to the same period as these transitional points. They're actually a little bit older, maybe around like mid to late Archaic, you know, going back 5,000 to 7,000 years old maybe. The thing that has me on the fence with this guy is that it's kind of crude. Now, I don't know if that's just a result of the material. Maybe this material was really hard to work with. There's a lot of step fractures in this, meaning that they weren't getting flakes to drive across the whole thing. It was flaking, but it was snapping off mid-flake. So you get these step fractures on them. Most of the examples of these that I've seen tended to be a little bit more well made, but man, it sure fits the bill. If it's not, it's just a big blade that snapped right there at the tip, and it closely resembles the Genesee type. But like I said, I've been back and forth, but I'm leaning towards it was a Genesee type point, so that's kind of cool. You see there, this looks like this could have even been the striking platform that initially knocked off this big hunk of flake that they started working with. I don't think that base is snapped like that. I think that, like I said, that's actually the platform, the striking platform that made the flake. There were some other tools. You saw that blade. This is the first thing that I found down there. Kind of nondescript, just a worked piece of flint. And you could see the different flakes that were driven off the sides. And it would have been used as, you know, for various things, skinning, cutting, whatever they had to do with it. This here is another piece of argillite, which, you know, could go with this. You see how they're different shades? This one's a little bit closer to that color, but they can be shaded like this purplish brown to this deeper purple color. And you can see on the edge of this, see all the little flakes taken out of it? That was definitely work. That was definitely made into a bit there. And this could even be, could be part of a broken celt, but I don't know. I don't think so. This probably, the way that it looks, is probably just used like this, just you know, as a scraper. Could have been like a hide scraper or something. One of the flakes showed some work on it there. You can see there's a couple of you can actually see some flaking scars on there, and this looks kind of smooth, so I'm not sure if this was like a little end scraper or not, but it does have some work on it. And then there was this blade that I actually found at the same time that I found this little Fox Creek, looks like Fox Creek drill, but doesn't have a lot of work on it, but it does have this one edge right here. Oops, sorry about that. Has this one edge right here that may have some, it's pretty flat, so it may have been used. You know, hard to tell, but if anything, at the least I would call it a utilized flake. Utilized flake tool or whatever. There was also another tool that I picked up. I thought it was a flake, threw it in my pocket, but probably the same idea, just a utilized flake tool, a little side scraper, or used it to cut something or whatever. Could even be a spoke shave for straightening out a shaft of like an arrow or something. But that was it as far as the tools. Also ended up picking up a pocket full of flint. There's some rhyolite, which this stuff comes from down in southern Pennsylvania, you know, down into Maryland. Of course, there's some jasper probably from the Lehigh Valley area. This stuff is very prevalent down around Allentown, down in that area. So see this scattered all over the place around here. There's a piece of jasper that was turned red, and that's done by heat. A lot of times this is done on purpose. If you heat the jasper up, it'll turn this cherry red, but supposedly it's easier, it flakes easier. It makes it more brittle and it makes it easier to flake. Not sure exactly how that works. Must be a chemical process, and you know, you could talk to somebody that does flint knapping. They might know the answer to that, but I know that they definitely heat treated some of the jasper on purpose. And in some river cobbles that were smashed open, probably looking for usable flint. You see how there's flint on the inside, but there's the outside core of the rock, just the cortex. And these are just river cobbles, just basically transported in by glaciers or whatever over the years. Looks like a piece of Onondaga chert, which would have came from upstate New York. It's got this modeling coloring in it, and did make a surface find. Believe it or not, that is a clad dime. Didn't even need a metal detector. But okay, like I said, just wanted to give you guys a just a little bit of a better view, a little closer view of these now that they were all cleaned up, and I can show you a little something with them, get a little bit more detailed. But all right, I'm going to end this here. I want to say thanks a lot again for watching. I really appreciate it. Do me a favor though, hit the thumbs up button if you like the video. That means a lot. Tells the YouTube algorithm that people are watching the videos, and it'll put it out in front of more people. I'm not sure what happened this year, but for some reason my views have dropped way down, and I know that it's not, I don't think it's me, I don't think it's the content. It's just that there must have been a change in the YouTube algorithm, and the videos just aren't getting as many views. I don't make any money off this. I did monetize the channel, but I don't have enough viewers or time watched to make money. It'd be nice to have some gas money, but you know, I mainly do this because I really enjoy it, and I really enjoy sharing what I know and what I find with people, and it brings me a lot of happiness when I talk to other people about it. So I use the YouTube, you know, platform as basically, you know, just my way of reaching out and showing people what can be found out there. And then I also meet some like-minded people from time to time. It's actually how I met Aaron. But anyway, guys, like I said, please hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Also, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any videos that I happen to put out on this or the metal detecting. I do have some clips from metal detecting, but because it's been so darn hot this last 2 weeks, I haven't gotten out. I did get out another time where Aaron actually came after I put that video out, where Aaron has moved away now. He happened to be in the area. We got together for a couple of hours, but we got rained out. Wasn't enough clips to make a full video yet, so when I get some more clips, I'll put that in. You'll see me and Aaron's little trip together. But all right, I'm out of here. Everybody be safe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next time.